In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is, the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set roll out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
My leader.
The Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.
TV, certainly the best.
This is Aqua Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming. It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game. Playtime is 45 minutes per set. There is no age limit as long as you can spin aqua seed. Ayo or aqua game, known as the game of intellectual. This game requires a lot of mathematical skills. Aqua game is played with carved wooden box containing 12 holes.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Crush and infatuation. Now, these are three terms that have similarities, but you see, it all depends on the perspective from which you're looking at it. Now, today we are looking at a very interesting conversation, something that has to do with the teenage perspective to infatuation, or rather, the teenage perspective to love and relationship. And that's basically what we're looking at today. Now, this is how I'd like to say welcome to Flipside on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Benin. My name is Harry Aigboje, and it is always a pleasure to have you join me on the show. Now, like I said, it is a very interesting conversation because, you know, love is a very broad subject. But when you are looking at it through the prism of a teenager, then you'll see that it's a different thing entirely. Now, I've got two amazing personalities in the house with me, and together we're going to be doing justice to this conversation. Now, to my far left is a teens coach. She goes by the name of Isioma Ogbeide. Welcome on board, Isioma.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year once again.
Yeah, same to you. It's actually our first time of seeing this year.
Yeah.
Interesting. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, and seated next to Isioma is Abigail, another teens coach. And I think her surname is Aiwobahi.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year too. I think it's also our first time of seeing this year.
Yes, our first time.
All right, so let's hit the ground running. A very interesting topic, you'll agree with me.
Yeah.
Teenage perspective to love and relationship. Who would like to take the first shot? Maybe you, Abigail.
Okay.
When a teenager says he or she has a crush, what comes to your mind? What does it imply?
Okay, I like the way you use the word crush.
Okay.
Because most times when I interact with teenagers and they tell me they're having a crush, I'm relaxed. I'm not.
Why are you
yes,
relaxed?
I'm relaxed because if you look at the dictionary meaning of a crush, it's like a strong attraction that doesn't last long. So if a teenager tells me that, ma or auntie, I'm having a crush on this girl, or I'm having a crush on this boy, so I presume, or I assume that they've already looked at, they understand what a crush means, that it's not going to last. It's not something that will last. So I'm really relaxed. It's only when they tell me that I don't really know I'm feeling about this person, I think I'm in love. So that's when I want to go through the difference between love, lust, and infatuation. Because when we talk about teenagers having a crush, it's a normal process of growing up. It's something that everyone we experience, you know. With the onset,
it's a phase?
Yes, it's a phase. With the onset of puberty, it's normal. You know, there are so many changes that is going on in the body of a growing adolescent. Physical changes, emotional changes, and social changes. So one of such emotional changes that they begin to notice the opposite sex. Now, if we even bring it down before they get to that, because when we look at adolescents, maybe around the age of from 11 to 19. If we even bring it down, studies will tell you that even children below as early as 6 years can experience a crush. Yes, as early, but it's just harmless. It's not something that serious like when they get to around that age of 9 or 10. So you know,
kind of
children,
fascinating.
It's fascinating. Yes,
imagine a 6-year-old or 7-year-old
it is
having a crush.
It is. Sometimes it may be that if for instance, if you notice that your child is constantly talking about it, but it's the way they're having it for younger age. It's not like that kind of sexual attraction like maybe the way adults will imagine it. They just like this person. Sometimes maybe that person is a new student in the school. They are interested, they want to be friends with that person. They attend, because I've noticed it in my child. It's something that I have kind of, I had a first-hand experience. Like there was a time my son was always talking about this particular, the name was always on his lips, like this particular name, but after some time I didn't hear the name again.
So the phase passed.
Yes, it's a phase. So but as they grow, as they mature, that feelings may begin to grow strong. But like experts will say, most of the feelings that teenagers experience at that particular stage, because it's a transition period. There's a lot going on within them. Their emotions are high, their hormones are high. So most of the feelings they're having at that particular time is not true love. It is infatuation. So if a teenager can understand that, okay, what I'm experiencing at this point is a crush, so I believe that they will not want to act on it immediately. They will want to just give it time, because that's what we always encourage teenagers. If you think you have feelings for this person, why don't you give it time? Give it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. If that feeling is still there, there's probably true love. Because for infatuation dies with time, but love peaks. You realize that it grows over time. So if my teenager tells me that they're having a crush, because even if they tell you they're having a crush, you have to give them ways on how to, to manage it. Not just, okay, you're having a crush, you laugh over it and you just forget about it. You give them, you groom them, you teach them what they're expected to know at that particular time. Sometimes when I talk to my teenagers about having a crush, I let them know that it is normal. It's a normal part of growing up, but it doesn't mean you need to act on it. And you don't even need to let that person notice, because there are times the person will not notice that you are crushing on them. What about if they also reciprocate it and they begin to ask you out, or they're interested in you, they want you to, they want you to be their girlfriend or their boyfriend. So it also boils down to the value system in the home, because I think these are conversations that parents should be having with their children beforehand, because sometimes you might be unaware. In schools, I've been in the educational sector for a long time to see that even children as early as primary 4, primary 3, they write love letters.
Wow. Yes,
as early as that, they exchange. I have a girlfriend, I have a boyfriend. Sometimes you flog them, you beat them. How are they learning? Sometimes because you are not the only influence over your children. They read books. Some of them read romantic books. You might not know they watch romance. So even sometimes we say that is normal for them to experience that. Sometimes the kind of movies or the kind of content that is supposed to can also bring about that fantasy. They begin to daydream about this person. They just want this special person. So I think these are conversations that parents should have with their children on love, crush, and infatuation, even before they get to that age of 13.
A big thank you to you, Abigail, for your very brilliant analysis. I would like to know, Isioma, do you share that thought? Do you believe, because she just equated a crush to infatuation, do you think it's the same thing? Is it not possible for a crush to metamorphose into something solid?
Okay, so equating crush and infatuation doesn't mean that it can't evolve finally to love. But I would like to put in this analogy when it comes to the issue of crush. The fact is that these emotions, like you already rightly said, they are part of your normal development as a child, going into teenagehood and into adulthood, because you will need those emotions much later in life to handle relationships, even in marriage and all. So first baseline is that it's not wrong for you to have such emotions. But again, because at that time, your maturity level might not be able to handle certain responsibilities, that's where that caution now comes in. Because even if, of course, that you know that you have so much money as a parent or you can afford a car for your child, you wouldn't give your 6-year-old child a car to drive.
True.
Doesn't make it that that child doesn't need a car, but at that time
you love the child less.
Yes, and doesn't mean you love the child less. So for the mere fact that fine you are having this infatuation towards this person or having a crush towards this person doesn't actually mean that at that time you really need to now go all in to get totally involved to the extent that it now begins to distract you or anything. Because really true love is not even about all of the feelings, like we know. There are things that will come up that will challenge those feelings, and if you are not ready for it, it will cause a mess.
It will cause a mess. Now, how do teenagers define love, and how is it different from attraction, Abigail?
Okay, from a teenager's perspective, because I'll be speaking as a teen mentor from what I have seen. You know, as I mentioned earlier, this adolescent stage is a very peculiar and unique phase for teenagers, and there are so many changes that is going on in their body, physically, emotionally, and socially. And the thing is that from the perspective of a teenager, when they're having that feeling of attraction or this infatuation for someone, most times they see it as true love. That's from the perspective, most of them, except the ones that are already, they have been pre-informed, maybe because of the kind of environment or the level of information they have received over time. But sometimes, because that feeling is so intense, you know, we were once there now. Every one of us, it's something that we've experienced. You'll be daydreaming about this person, you'll be thinking about this person. Like, there are times you cannot even do anything. By the time when this person walk past or you walk past, your heartbeat will cease. You understand? So it's like that. You just feel like this. You will begin to daydream about how you are going to wear that wedding gown. How it's for life. This is going. In fact, even at that point, even some of them, when they begin to maybe take the feelings further, they begin to date that person. By the time you begin to advise them or caution them that this thing will not last, sometimes we adults, we want to caution them. They will think that you are just saying your own. It's your own. They want to act on that feeling because
you don't want them to be happy.
Yes, because sometimes they will even look at you like old school. They will even tell you that you have lived your life. They will tell you that you've lived your life. You want to come out. Why don't you want me to be happy? Especially maybe sometimes maybe you are a teacher or you are maybe you are not married. They will say that you are a killjoy. You are not. They will have that kind of view. It's happened sometimes. Like Auntie Isioma rightly said, because they are having that feeling doesn't mean that they should act on it they should give it time. So when teenagers are in that particular phase, even we adults will try to talk them out of it. What you are feeling is infatuation. It won't last. Just some of them will just, in fact, at that particular phase, to them it is true love. It is true love. So that's how they view love at that particular time. Then another thing is that if, for instance, that teenager is growing up in a home where their parents are available, you understand, they can have such conversations with them, then it can also influence their view. Then bringing it down to the family dynamics, because we are looking at the perspective, the view, how teenagers view love. You know, people view love in different ways. Some people view love as transactional. Some people view love as is something you have to give something to get another thing in return. The kind of family dynamics, if a child is growing up in a home where there is love, the parents are like, they are in tune with each other, there is mutual love, understanding, and respect. That child will also grow up with that positive mindset that this is how love ought to be, and they will not want to settle for less. But if that child is growing up in a chaotic kind of home environment whereby the parents are always at loggerheads, there's conflict, it can even lead to unhealthy attachment style. There are some people that will tell you, no, I can never fall in love, because maybe their mother, they've seen how because maybe the mother is always begging for attention from the father, or let's say the father is only when the man drops money or when he provides, that's when the wife will show him attention. So the boys will also internalize that for me to gain love, for me to get love, I need to make money for me to gain love from girls. So that's that kind of mindset. So the family dynamics can also influence the perspective teenagers have about love.
Okay, Isioma, you have something to add to that?
Okay, so something else about the love that at that age most teenagers feel is that most time it's so intense and more of emotions rather than deep-seated respect, or how will I put it, the entirety of the person is not involved in it. So most times it's more superficial. Why will I say this? Because if you notice, when we really talk about love, fine, it might start with the physical attraction. Yes. But much later, as love grows, it goes beyond the physical attraction. You now start looking at the personality of this individual. Because fine, I might go to a mall and I love something. I'm attracted to the pack.
The packaging.
I will buy it. But when I take it and I don't feel good about it, or something about it puts me off, what happens? I discard it.
So beyond the attraction or the physical attraction, the content and the substance do matter.
Yeah. Do matter. But at that teenage, that first age, it's usually, oh, this guy is tall, dark, handsome. Oh, I love the way she speaks. Oh, I love the way she walks.
But do teenagers put all of these factors you just mentioned into consideration? Do they consider the personality of the person? Okay.
Because much later, when a few of them get really involved, they now find out that, wow,
this is not really what I want.
This is not what I ordered versus what I got.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Isioma, for that very interesting one. Well, it's still Flip Side on independent television, and we're discussing the teenage perspective to love and relationship. We have to go on this break now. The program continues afterwards. Please stay tuned. It's still Flip Side on independent television. Now, Abigail, this question goes to you. A lot of young people of this era are exposed to social media. As a matter of fact, social media is like the real world to them, because some of them spend more time on social media than the real world. So how do social media materials influence them and influence their perspective to love and relationship?
All right. Okay, like in this time and age, in this digital age, social media have a kind of a strong influence on teenagers' perspective about love and relationship, because like you said, they spend a large proportion of their time on social media, and these sources, these online platforms can now serve kind of a source of reference for or information as regards relationship and romance. One thing I've come to notice is about social media, because when we talk about social media platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, there is a way they, especially social media influencers, there's a way they portray this kind of curated image, this kind of perspective of happy couples. You know, when you come on social media, you see someone be an influencer you are following, the way they depict their relationship is just about soft lives, money, vacation, going, you know, gifts, all the kind of fairy tale. So this kind of unrealistic portrayal of relationship. I'm not trying to say that relationship is not romantic, relationship is not glamorous, it's not sweet, it is sweet. Love is a beautiful thing, but there is a way they portray it to their audience. And one thing is that when you share a particular image, or let's say a particular content on social media, you cannot direct the way the audience interprets it. It's just like I think some months back I was reading this content on social media that there was a time that a lot of people were writing books, they will publicize it on Facebook, on social media. I just wrote this book, I was invited to this speaking engagement, and I just won this deal. A lot of people were just kind of posting their wins. People still do that on social media. Then somebody was not saying that a lot of people were intimidated. You that were intimidated, that's how you choose to see, because the person who put that out there, their intention is not to intimidate you. Maybe they just like to share content about their life, about their wins, and you rejoice with them. Maybe that's their aim, but for you interpreted it in another way. So sometimes when social media influencers, they just portray this image of this fairy tale, this road, they romanticize love and relationship. It may make teenagers begin to feel that, it even make teenagers confuse lust and infatuation for love. It may make them confuse lust. They may not look at the deep things that are important: commitment, loyalty, trust. They may just think, okay, relationship is just all about going out on dates, about fancy restaurants, about buying me gifts and all that. The another thing that social media, the way that the way social media portray love is that it can bring about this comparison culture, where teenagers begin to compare themselves or their relationship with that of influencers or their peers. They may just like, okay, okay, maybe that teenager is in a relationship. They'll feel like, okay, my relationship, I'm not doing well in this relationship, or this person is not giving me what I want. Or they may even begin to feel like, I am losing out, I am behind because I'm not in a relationship, because I don't have a boyfriend to test me, or I don't have a girlfriend to send me tests, and you understand? Yeah. So they may begin to feel left out. They may begin to feel self-conscious that they don't have somebody. The another thing that movies, because we are looking at social media and movies now. Another thing that movies does is that there is this narrative that movies sell to the audience. Like, they make it seem as if love is enough to cover a whole lot of things, you know. I know that the Bible tells us that love covers a multitude of sin, but that's just talking about the love that Jesus has for humanity. But they make it seem as if no matter the bad behavior of that person, you have to make sacrifices. Sometimes this can encourage or make teenagers condone abuse or bad behavior, because they feel like, okay, in that movie that I watched, the man was physically abusive to the woman, but she was patient, and or maybe the man was just like, okay, I know she's cheating on me, but I know she still loves me, so let me just understand. So it can make young people normalize abuse in their relationship. So social media has kind of a strong influence on the views that teenagers or young people have about. It can lead to this unrealistic expectation. They begin to see love and romance as just a fairy tale, instead of the things that really matter, like commitment, loyalty, and understanding, trust.
Thank you so much, Abigail, for that one. Now I would like to know, Isioma, how do you strike a balance between physical attraction and lust amongst teenagers?
Okay, so physical attraction and lust, they're about the same thing, because with lust, there's the physical component that draws the individual in. Okay. So when we talk about physical attraction, again, it's normal. Biologically.
Okay, so you're saying that physical attraction in itself is not a problem?
It's not a problem. It's not a problem, because biologically, as you get into that puberty age, there are hormones that are being released in your system. Oxytocin is one of them. It's a sex hormone, and it's one of those hormones that tries to call in physical intimacy. Okay. You understand? And yes, much later in life, when you get married, you actually need those hormones, but they pile up over time. And for a young person who becomes physically attracted to another individual, it's also healthy. But again, there's the line that needs to be drawn. Okay. And that's why, for me, one of the counsel I would like to bring in for parents now is, we had a meeting with teenagers, in a camp meeting, and we're asking, what are some of the things, if daddy and mommy are not here, let's just talk. What are some of the things you are not comfortable about? And we're like, they are being overprotective. And I'm like, but it's love. It's just their way of telling them. They said no. And I had to go back and go and check. Those things that we call, that teenagers call overprotective, it's just you not trusting their ability.
Okay.
Now,
the ability to
take decisions. Yes. Okay. So now I'll bring this in. So I see a young girl and a young boy talking. Fine, there are other boys in the club, but they are talking together. As a parent, that's not the time for you to come and say, now so boy they talk to. Do you want her to be talking to girls like, do you want her to now become a lesbian?
In fact, that would be worrisome.
It should be worrisome. Okay. So for the mere fact that they are physically attracted, it's healthy. Okay. I tell my young girls around, there's the age you get to, you are like a beautiful flower. Anybody that sees it, we certainly admire. So someone tells you you are beautiful, you know, I already told you are beautiful.
Does that explain why, you know, some guys would, if you tell some guys that they like women too much, they'll tell you, is a man that I should like?
So, well, maybe, but so physical attraction, it's okay. But now, you should now know when this is now going into lust, where it now becomes obsessive, where it becomes compulsive, where it becomes controlling. Like, you are not able to do any other thing, you are not able to focus on academics, you are not able to do anything except that particular, that one now becomes a problem. you don't eat, you don't take your bath until when you have called or spoken with this person.
So
that you don't hear from the person.
So that has gone beyond attraction.
No, it has gone beyond attraction. That was not like a disorder. Yes, obsession. So for that, that's not healthy. But that a young girl or a young boy sees someone else of the opposite sex, particularly at that age, and they're attracted, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Isioma. Now, Abigail, what do you think parents and instructors are doing wrong in terms of, instilling the right knowledge in these people, in these young people, on the difference between attraction and lust? Because a lot of them do not understand the difference. Like she said, some of them just model it up. You tell them, when they tell you that they are in love or they are attracted to someone, and if it is not well channeled, they might just, channel it the wrong way and then become obsessed, like she said. So how do you think parents should be able to, teach them the difference between attraction and,
Well, I think because of my interaction with a lot of parents as a teen mentor, I would say that parents of this generation, they are doing quite well when it comes to this area. Some parents may not really have all the knowledge, but some of them go beyond the way to get maybe books, even kind of encourage their children to have mentors, either in school or in church, or get the services of mentors to kind of enlighten their children on these things. But I would say that for some parents that are still feeling like, okay, these are not things that my children should be talking about, I think it still boils down to that mentality, that mindset, that anything that has to do with relationships, sexuality, is not something that is like a taboo to some parents, because so many of us, that's how we were raised. You cannot have this conversation. But the thing is that I cannot really understand. Even everyone went through that phase. Even the parent now that is scolding that child, you are spoiled, why are you saying this, or why are you doing this, or why are you talking about love or relationship? You begin to caution or you begin to invalidate that child's feeling. But the thing is that parent was once in that age, and I would tell, I can say that at a particular point in time, they had attraction for someone. It may even be that is not even the person that they are married to today. So why are they making a fuse over it? So
it could also be that they made mistakes in their own time.
In their own time, and yes, they are scared. But using fear is not, in fact, fear does not bring any results. Okay. It's not a good parenting tool. Sometimes even the Bible says that thing that you fear so much, it will happen to you. So when you use fear as a tool to correct your children, most times they end up doing that same thing. Okay. So I think it boils down to you having this conversation. I can call it difficult conversation, because there are not conversations that are easy to have. At times when you are even awkward. Yes, when you're even having, and the thing is that it becomes awkward when you leave it over time, when they become teenagers. It's not, they don't just get to 13, you now sit your daughter down and say, now that you are not started seeing your period, and you know that if a boy, and if you are not supposed to be having sex, and that is not at that time. In fact, sometimes some parents even leave such conversations or limit it to their daughters, while they just leave the boys to themselves. No, it's a conversation that you should have with both anything that it has to do with relationship in general, infatuation, having a crush, lust. In fact, there are so many things that you can discuss with your children, and I believe that every parent have a vision of how they want their children to live their life. I don't think that even a native daughter's child, or a native daughter, yes, anybody, even if you are not educated, I believe everybody has a vision for their children. This is how I want my children to live their life. So even if you have that mental picture in your head, you need to verbalize. Don't just keep it there, because your children cannot enter into your head. And another thing is that some parents have this belief that, okay, my child is seeing me, or because we go to church, or because they attend Sunday school with me, then they should know what to do. As long as, fine, the church is also playing their own role, the church, Sunday school teachers and everyone, you also need to let them that this, set boundaries for them. This is how I want you to, because sometimes I've seen children in school, they live double life. Sometimes some parents are not even aware that their child is in a relationship. Sometimes that's why it comes as a surprise to some parents when they hear that their daughter is sexually active or their son is sexually active. Because for me personally, I want to have that kind of relationship with my child, that they will be able to discuss even difficult things, that even if they mess up, I will be the first person that they want to tell, like, I must have this conversation with my mother. They will not want to hide it from me. So I believe these are conversations that parents should have with their children. Like talking about infatuation, love, like I normally discuss with my teenagers, when you want to know the difference between love or love and infatuation, first you have to look at, because like I mentioned earlier, for a teenager going through that phase, they feel it is true love. First you have to look at the way it comes. For infatuation comes suddenly.
Okay. All right, I'll have to pause you there, Abigail. Of course, I know you were making a whole lot of sense, and hopefully, when we return, you'll be able to build on that. It's still Flipside on independent television. We shall be going on this break now. Please stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. All right, Abigail, you were taking us on the journey before we went on that break.
Yes, how teenagers can differentiate between love and infatuation. So, one of the, if maybe your teenager is experiencing this kind of attraction and they are confused if it's actually true love or if it's an infatuation. One of the first way to identify that it's infatuation is that infatuation comes suddenly, like the feeling is quick. Okay. And the feeling is very strong, like you just feel like you just want to.
True love?
In a way, at that initial stage, so it comes quickly, but the thing is that it fades quickly. Okay. But love grows with time. Love is steady, develops over time. But infatuation comes quickly, then it fades quickly. For love, it grows gradually, maybe from friendship or maybe from a crush to friendship like that. Okay. It peaks over time. With time, you keep seeing that. Every day you keep the feeling for this person keeps growing, but for infatuation on the other hand, it begins to kind of diminish over time. Okay. So you even realize that this person you just used to like so much, you feel so much attracted to them, suddenly you don't even like them. At times when that thing wear off, that infatuation wear off, you begin to look at the person will just look ordinary to you. You even start wondering like, why did I even like this person before? What even brought me to this person? At times, even amongst sometimes when I talk to my teenager about relationship, I tell them that there are times you might even realize that that person that you're having a crush on or you are infatuated with has a very terrible character, a bad behavior. But at that point in time, you won't be seeing that behavior. It's only when that thing wears off, you begin to realize that this person has a nasty attitude. I don't even think I can even be with this person. So it appears as though a scales fell off the person's eyes. But with love, it grows over time. Then secondly, infatuation is usually superficial. It's usually based on the outside of that person, their beauty, how beautiful they are, what they have is kind of, okay, this person can sing very well, this person can dance, he can play football, or he or she, understand, it's just based, it's superficial. But love, on the other hand, love has to do with the innate qualities of that person. Fine, maybe at first you'll be attracted to, there will be something that attracts you to that person. Okay, I just like this person because he or she has a beautiful voice, there's a way that he or she talks. That's the reason why I'm attracted. But over time, you get to start. That's why I always tell teenagers, give it time. The fact that you're attracted to this person, give it time. With time, you begin to see this person's qualities. So love, most often than not, is based on values, the values of that person, the character of that person, their personality. Yes, it's more on that. So there's always also attraction, but it's based more on the innate qualities of that person. The another difference between infatuation and love is that most times infatuation is like a fairy tale. You begin to obsess over that person, you begin to think about that person unnecessarily, you begin to daydream about that person. It may even affect your daily activities. You may even start to begin to feel insecure when you don't hear from this person. Or maybe you see them with another person, you begin to feel jealous. Love is not jealous. Love is in as much as love is is also emotional, but you don't feel that jealousy or you don't feel insecure. Love is a lot calmer and a lot safe. But for infatuation on the other, one thing I would say in summary is that infatuation excites while love stabilizes.
Okay, so you're saying that love is not jealous, so there's no element of jealousy.
No, not that. Okay.
Because I've seen adults who are truly in love, who express jealousy.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do you...
Okay, so for that, if you really truly love someone, at some point jealousy could come up. Okay. But again, that emotional intelligence that comes with love, which is not an infatuation, now helps you to check yourself and find out, this jealousy, is it rooted in something that I feel but is not actual? So I saw this person probably talking with another person, and I'm imagining now that there's something sexual going on between them. Or is it because I feel insecure about an attitude that this person is showing me? That emotional intelligence is what will now push you to ask questions, because in true love, there's communication. Okay. You don't just assume. And then you'll be able to now get rid of...
Let's not also forget that communication is a two-way street. Yeah. You might want to communicate, and the person you're trying to communicate with is not even helping matters.
Okay, fine. But even then, you need to be careful, because anybody that treads that part of jealousy, along that path, will lead to destruction, both for yourself and for that person that you love. And that's why you see where some people, they say, oh, this partner stabbed this other, or this one did something harmful to the other. It was because there was a jealousy that cropped up that was not checkmated.
Okay. All right. Is there a difference between jealousy and insecurity? Because it seems to be like the same thing to me.
Okay, so jealousy and insecurity, it's more like one manifesting what the other one is saying. So when you are insecure, jealousy crops up.
But is it not possible to be jealous without being insecure?
It's possible for you to be jealous and not be insecure if the root problem of that jealousy is not the insecurity. Like I said, it could be the attitude of the other partner that is leading to that jealousy.
Okay. All right. Here's another one. The issue of rejection, like I said, okay? It's one thing for you to like someone, and yet another thing for the person to like you back.
Serve you breakfast.
Yeah, so what happens when... You didn't have to say that.
Breakfast.
Okay, so you like someone, but the person doesn't like you back. How do you handle that? And how do teenagers handle it, and how do you think they should handle it?
Okay.
Let me ask Abigail this one.
First, okay, I should start.
Yes,
okay, what I would say is that teenagers, because they are still developing, they are still growing, they cannot really handle rejection well, like adults, the way adults would, At that particular stage, their self-esteem, their identity is not fully formed. Emotional regulation skills is not fully developed. So at that particular point, teenagers, they don't handle rejection well, except maybe that teenager is like, there are always exceptions to every rule. There are some people that do well. In fact, I believe some people have this resilient spirit. Like they are kind of born with it. Like it's just like something that is innate. But for some, they easily give up. You understand? Things easily bother them. They easily feel anxious or this kind of anxiety. They easily experience it. But most often than not, because of the peculiarity of that stage that teenagers are in, their brain is not, psychologists will tell you that the brain of an adolescent is not fully developed until around the prefrontal cortex, yes, to be precise, until around the age of 25. That's the reason why they may act irrational, give into impulse, or engage in risky behavior. But for a teenager going through rejection, sometimes they may not even open up to their parents about it. Most times it's a personal thing. Some of them may begin to isolate themselves. Some of them may begin to experience sleep deprivation. They may not eat well at that point. They may even be angry. Some of them may even be angry with the person that rejected them. It's very common among boys. They may even begin to get back at the person. They may even begin to kind of put up this defensive act. I didn't even like her before, because they don't want to expose, kind of let their friends see their vulnerability. So at that particular point, they will begin to make jokes or just make light of the situation But another thing is that for rejection, a painful breakup, like if that teenager is already in that, maybe already in that relationship, and the person that they are in a relationship with, the person they are dating, breaks their heart, it may also influence the subsequent view that they will have a bad relationship. Some of them may become more cautious and guided. Then some of them may begin to have kind of unhealthy attachment style. That's the reason why you see some adults today, they bleed on others. Something that you didn't do, you are not the one that broke their heart. But in in subsequent relationship, they become they don't even want to give themselves to you. Understand? They keep transfer of aggression. They begin to build walls around themselves that you cannot even. The person might even have a beautiful personality or you understand, but they cannot really express themselves in love. It becomes a problem to this person, and this person may even have their best interest in art. So it limits their ability to fully love.
Okay, thank you so much, Abigail. Now we have another very important break, and when we return, it will be time to wrap things up on the program. Please take. Yes, it's great to have you back. It's still Flipside on Independent Television, and this is the final lap of the program. Now, Isioma, there are certain teenagers who do not know how to handle feelings of infatuation, crush, and all whatnot. Okay, they have certain feelings about a person, but they don't know how to process it, and some of them get into trouble in the process of trying to, express it. So how do you think they should do that? And for those who are not, who are totally clueless, what do you think adults, like their parents, guardians, instructors, and people around them should do to help them manage it?
Okay, so I'll start with the teenagers. First of all, you need to know that you are enough.
Okay.
You are a gift to your world. Regardless of what anybody says, or tells you, or makes you feel. That's one. Then secondly, it's very important that the teenager knows that a relationship didn't work out well doesn't actually mean you won't have any other beautiful relationship. So that helps you in the healing process, because I've seen cases where, oh, because this person rejected me, I just feel worthless. I just feel, oh, maybe there's really a problem with me. No, it might just be that two of you were not meant to. That's one. Then it usually becomes more complicated when sex is involved, and that's why that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
So as much as possible, we always say, that's why there's a passage in the Bible that will say, don't stir up love, because when you stir, once you light that matches, it's like a wildfire. You can't control it. But that's topic for another day. So when sex is not involved, it's much easier. When sex is involved, it's more complicated. So I'm taking it when sex is not involved.
Okay.
First of all is that you need to tell yourself that you are enough. And that means it's a process that you will heal from.
Okay.
Take your time and heal. Get on a hobby that is healthy. If it's something that you're going to do to relax yourself, get as in for yourself to be, yes, as a form of distraction. Okay. Next, you need to disconnect.
From?
Actively disconnect from the person.
Okay.
Yes.
Like you avoid them totally.
Avoid.
Because let's still be friends.
Yes, yes, yes. The reason is this: you need to really process what has happened and know how you are going to move forward. You can't say you're moving forward and still be looking backward.
Okay.
So if it means all those midnight calls, midnight chats, let it just be. If we're on the same class group, we maintain the class group. If we're on the same church, or we maintain it.
What if the person keeps, reaching out somehow?
He keeps reaching out. It's the way you respond that will not let the person know that the status has changed.
Okay.
Then finally, you need to find people, a community, a support system. Very important. So that's why it's very good to have good friends. Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. So when you have good friends around you and you have a healthy support system around you, they help you to come out from such guilt trip or feeling of depression or inadequacy. That's on the side of the teenager.
Okay.
For the parents, please always provide a healthy space for them to thrive. Every one of us, we've made mistakes or we've made wrong decisions that we don't like. But again, there was someone who was there stretching out hands for us to pull us back up and tell us that's not where we're stopping. Okay. We can move further than that. Even in cases where pregnancy is involved, or you need to let this child know that there still lies a lot ahead of them that they can fulfill. And again, as a parent, you should be able to set healthy boundaries. Sister Abigail mentioned it when she was saying it. As much as you want to be that parent that is 21st century and is free, there must be healthy boundaries for the child, beyond which they shouldn't cross. Okay. And then finally, you must verbalize your love for them and let them know it in your actions, in your deed. Nothing stops you from taking your daughter on a dinner. Okay. So that the next time a classmate is taking them a dinner, it doesn't begin to wind their head as though it's something out of place. Or a family picnic or things like that that helps them to know that you can actually have a healthy relationship with opposite sex without anything sexual being involved. Okay. That way they are able to manage their feelings even when this infatuation, because secrecy is the power. So you know those ones that you want to do in corners where nobody will see you. Those are the ones that lead to problems.
Thank you so very much, Isioma. Abigail, your final word on this.
The final word I would just like to give to parents, I think the foundation of everything is what matters. I know, some people will tell you that for teenagers, their peers, the social media, the society, culture have a kind of a strong influence over them. But studies will also tell you that even as with those influence, external influence, the parents, the home still have the strongest influence over the lives of the children. So what I would say is that for parents, every parent should nurture their children. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. So I mentioned something earlier. I said every parent has a vision. There's a vision you have for your child. This is how I want my children to, this is the standard I want like your values. Every family should have a value. Like when we talk about values, a kind of a guide to principles on how you live your life. If I have these values, an example of a family value, I can have a value on, okay, I don't want my children to date as teenagers. I want them to be more matured. So I need to communicate these values to them. You don't just keep it to yourself. Another thing that I would also like to encourage parents, I see sometimes parents have these conversations that has to do with relationship, love, infatuation, sex, they only restrict the conversation to the girl child and they just leave the boys to themselves. I would like to encourage parents that whenever you are having this conversation, it is important for you to also bring the boys into the fold, because an untrained boy becomes a problem to the society. There are things we also need to teach our children about consent, even how to handle rejection. The reason why we have some maybe boys taking advantage of girls, even sexually abusing girls to some extent, is because they don't know how to handle rejection. So when you tell them no, they feel that they want to get back, I must get back at you. Yeah. So these are some conversations that we need to be having with our children. You don't just keep it to yourself, you verbalize it and you keep on. It's not something you just have in one-off conversation. Yes. You just keep it there and they just grow up like that. It's something that you have to go back to and kind of encourage them, groom them into the way you want them to be.
All right, thank you so very much, ladies, for a very amazing contribution to the program. I mean, you guys have made my day, because actually I didn't think we're going to move in this direction, but I think you've touched virtually every area that needs to be touched, even though we haven't scratched the surface, because there's a whole lot more to talk about as far as this discourse is concerned. But a big thank you to you for being with me on the show.
Thank you.
It's been Flipside on Independence Television, and I think you've heard from the horse's mouth. These people are not just talking for talking's sake. They are actually team coaches, like I said in opening. And I'm sure that a whole lot has been said so far, and just like the adage says, the word is enough for the wise. Now, it's not a bad thing to be attracted to someone, but what you do with that attraction is very important, okay? It's not enough to just say, oh, I like this person. You must understand certain other things like, you know, trust, faithfulness, and then, of course, what exactly is it about that person that, you know, is attracting you? Is it just the outlook, the, you know, outward outlook, or, you know, certain qualities about that person that, you know, you like? Are these qualities sustainable? Are these qualities able to attract you or keep you glued for a very long time? And these are the very important things that you must consider as a teenager. My name is Harry Igbo-J, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Welcome. This is This Morning on ITV, right here in our Benin Network studios. There's a whole lot of things to talk about over the next 3 hours. So all you have to do is sit down, relax, and perhaps have a cup of coffee or something and join us. So many things to talk about in security, politics as we move towards 2027, and also in entertainment as we'll be having TMI socials on the show. Welcome on board. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. And of course, I have my wonderful colleague right here in the studio with me, Harry. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm about saying Harry Maguire, but hey, how are you?
Well, I've never really been that much of a sports fan, but yeah. I am a sports fan, but not a fanatic. But hey, calling me Harry Maguire, gives me a different vibe entirely. But it's all good. Good morning to you, Anu, and good morning to you, Benin City. Good morning, Nigeria and the world. And of course, it's great to be here again, to update you guys on what's happening in our nation. And of course, just like you did mention, TMI socials as well.
Of course, we would be joining our colleagues in Lagos and Abuja shortly. But real quickly, let's have a chit chat. So during the course of the week, one of the prominent personality in Nigeria's political system, Peter Obi, the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, now in the ADC, revealed a striking comment where he said that Nigerians should pray for the politicians because they are the root cause of problems in Nigeria, and that sparked a lot of conversation online as regards why he would say it. Is he not a politician as well? And was with always talking bad about the government when you're out of office, and then when you get into office, we no longer hear you vocal as you used to be.
The first thing to me is the fact that we are back to this whole prayer thing again. Nigerians and prayers. Like, what is it about us and prayers? You know, I feel like there comes a time when we need to, you know, face our challenges head on, rather than always, you know, making reference to prayers and all whatnot. I'm not in any way trying to downplay the importance of prayers, but you see, prayer without works, or just like, you know, the Holy Book says, faith without works is dead. So it's very important that we do the needful. And then talking about Peter Obi and his, you know, should I say, attempt to subtract himself from the political equation. For me, it's funny because, yes, of course, I understand that the vast majority of Nigerians out there see him as a saint of some sort, but the reality remains that he's still a politician, and he's not different from the average Nigerian politician. Yes, of course, it has always been my school of thought that just like it is in the animal farm, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, right? I believe that we can have necessary evils, but to expect that we'll have saints is something that is unrealistic.
But isn't it a great thing to feel that he is actually tailing alongside some of Nigeria's conviction over the years that the type of leaders that we have, the kind of leaders that we have, are the major problems that we are facing in Nigeria now? This is according to Peter Obi. So, well, we have our colleague in Lagos, Patricia Gabriel. Good morning. Good to see you as always. Welcome on board.
Good morning, Anu. Good to see you. You look so good this morning.
Right.
Okay.
So I would love to also have your feel on the conversation. I'm sure you have been listening. You want to rub minds with us this morning. Please go ahead.
Oh yes, I listened to what you and Harry were discussing right there in Benin, talking about Peter Obi saying the politicians are a problem. I think I want to talk with Harry. Yes, he might be looked as a saint by Nigerians because he has this movement, obedient movement, who believes that he's a saint, he's different from every politician. But like Harry said, he is a politician. So if he's saying the politicians in Nigeria are a problem, then he's saying he's one of our problems too. You know, he could just have said, okay, some of the politicians, all the policies being placed by our politicians are making life difficult for Nigerians and making us not to, you know, move from one beautiful level to another. Not saying the politicians are a problem, because if he says that, he's a politician and he's part of the Nigerian problem. That's my take about this.
Well, amazing line of thought, I must say. But run us through what we'll be expecting from your plate this morning right there in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, so we'll be talking to a gentleman, Ambassador Ajaro David Obaro. This time we're not doing politics. Let's look at what beautiful things that some Nigerians are doing, you know, to help Nigeria be put in a beautiful name, if you ask me, not just the politics and the kidnapping and all that. So we'll be looking at, or rather talking with Ambassador Ajaro David Obaro, who is popularly known as a world rapper man. Okay, the Guinness Book of Records recognized him as the man that had tied the longest rapper in Africa. But the most important thing why we'll be talking with him this morning is because he's currently running a 56-day campaign to raise awareness for cerebral palsy and people with special needs. Obaro recently partnered with the Nigerian Copyright Commission to promote inclusive access to copyright for persons with disabilities. So he's been doing this all along, and then he's right here in Lagos right now. I think he had a run last week at the National Stadium where a lot of prominent Nigerians were to watch him run the race. And so, you know, we're going to be talking with him to find out the reason why he decided to get into this. You know, not a lot of people will want to do this, you know, not for monetary gain. He's just doing it for awareness for special children and the children with needs. So we'll be looking and talking with Ajaro in a few minutes' time.
Right, amazing. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers are also looking forward to the conversation this morning. We'll join you in a bit, Patricia. Thank you so much. Now, back here in Edo State, our major attention this morning is as regards the delay in the electoral process amendment. So that has been a conversation online so far, and a lot of persons online and offline have been reacting to why we are seeing a bit of delay in the passage of the electoral amendment bill. So I hear that it's now in the third phase, but why the delay is the question. A lot of persons like the SAN, Femi Falana, has raised eyebrows as regards it, and we're going to be doing justice to that conversation this morning. We'll have our guest join us via Zoom from Lagos, Nigeria, a professor of communication, and also we'll also get to have Peter Akan join us via Zoom in Lagos. We'll quickly take a short break. When we return, we'll move over to what a couple of national papers have in stock for us this morning. Please join us again. Welcome back. You're on to This Morning on ITV. Now let's quickly say hello to our colleague in Abuja. Charity Tanko is on and running. Good morning, Charity. Good to see you. Please take it away.
Good morning, Anu, and good to see you also. From the Abuja Network Center this morning, we are still looking at the FCT area council's election. It's gathering momentum. Well, contestants are busy campaigning, even though you don't see it physically. Well, we're going to focus